How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Ethereum update on the channel. If you've been tuning in for a while, I was one of the earliest people to flip bearish once I saw all moving averages lost and the validation of this head and shoulders pattern. If you can't see it, this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder, followed by two necklines, a diagonal and horizontal one. We can also use the 200 daily EMA. As you can see in the past, when this white 200 daily EMA is creating an average between the last 200 days, so this is a majority of the year. So when price is trending above and holding all these shorter term ones, the expectation is that it's long term bullish, and so any dip should actually recover, putting new higher highs. Everything shifted once you actually lost the 200 EMA down over here. We got fooled into thinking this accumulation was setting up for new to actually start a new journey to break this local high and eventually new all-time highs. Now, as it was forming bullish crosses in this area, we're seeing the trend shift back into bullish. And so with this previous support to the left, the assumption is that it's forming this inverted head and shoulders pattern with these 2 points being the shoulder. So there was a lot of support in this area of 3 to 3.1k. Very important for it to maintain. Unfortunately, with the loss of this level, it's actually invalidating the potential inverted falling wedge. Please understand, even though it was developing with the head and shoulders, it needs to also break the neckline. So it had to, of course, climb back up to the highs and break out and retest it for continuation higher. In this case, we saw in the right shoulder of this inverse, we actually saw the bearish version of it, the regular head and shoulders pattern. So hoping that this was going to break out from here, in the end it's lost. So you can't be complacent and ignore it. And I feel like a lot of people have been complacent because they get further away from where they were, and it's only going to ever be recovered staying in those similar coins. But those similar coins are not giving, and the market is not giving the opportunity to make all that money back. And so you keep holding and it just keeps going worse and worse and worse. And now this macro double top has formed with the structure broken, loss of this 1 year long range. You can see this is March last year, 2024, we're in March 2025. So a 1 year range has been lost. I really believe that if we see a market wide bounce, it's just going to pump into 2.1 to 2.3 as resistance. So it'd be a bearish retest. This is a very scary signal. You need to understand the consequences because this is now shifting. Remember, this is accumulating for 1 year, but it went lower. It was meant to go higher, guys. This is not a signal to be ignored. I feel like even if we see the recovery of this level, it doesn't mean it's in the clear. Could come up a little bit higher and eventually lose it once again to continue lower. So in my personal opinion, I think this is macro bearish, but I've been saying that so high up. This was one of the last opportunities it had to bounce and, to pretty much not allow this bearish pattern to happen. It's of course happened, but the bounce from here needed to recover all those key levels. It failed. We filled in the wick eventually. This is what I was warning when you got such a big candle. People were brushing it off, saying, no, it's such a strong candle because look where it was, 2.1. Look where it is, 2.9. That does not matter. In fact, that should really throw you off. That should scare you more than anything. And you can see it corrected back up a little bit, followed by completion and filling in that wick. If you remember my videos down over here, I was saying at all costs, it has to bounce from here. This has to be the bottom. And it went lower. Guys, it's doing the complete opposite of what the bulls need. And this is a signal to all altcoins because ETH is the king of alts. If you look at ETH Bitcoin, it just keeps going lower and lower and lower and has been bearish since the bull market top of 2021. It has not had an altcoin season. There were two areas over here we thought altcoin season was going to come out of and get pumps in the upward direction back between September 2023 and July 2024. You could say it's accumulating to go higher, eventually went lower. It had to have gone up from here. Look at that macro support. Now it's validating a double top by losing it, spending almost a year in this area, holding this macro support, accumulating, and then lower. It's not doing what it needs to do, guys. You can't be complacent and ignore these. And then once again, going into this new year, when we were in October, November, December, and then January, eventually broke down lower, doing the complete opposite of what it needed to do. Once again, another macro support. And you'd say the same thing, and this is another macro support where we should consolidate at and go up from. But what has it been doing at when it was more bullish than now? Now the expectations, or you need it to. you're putting too much pressure on it essentially. There's even more pressure now than before because it was a lot more bullish before. It was holding a lot more key levels and accumulating for a while. To go down lower, it's not meant to be doing this, guys. So, of course, play the bounce all you will, but just understand, I believe that the upcoming resistance will be found between 2.1 to 2.3 and a rejection comes from there. I'll update it once we get a bit closer to that time. But for now, like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you want further education, click the links in the pinned comment section of this video, and I'll see you over in my community.